Okay, I unmuted us. Oh, no.
We good? Welcome to this study session of this Clear Creek School District Board of Education. It is June 9th, 2026, and it is 4:30 p.m. Roll call.
Pierce?
Here.
King? Here. Lynch?
Here.
McHugh?
Here.
No, she's here. I'm here. I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. I'll second that.
Pierce?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Lynch?
Aye.
McHugh? Sorry.
Yes.
No, yes.
So the first update, we have recognition of the class of 2026, and if you don't mind recognizing the students and their accomplishment.
Was it board updates first? That's it. I don't have.
No, because that's in the
Okay.
business meeting.
Yes. So yeah, thank you. You're welcome. The Board of Education would love to formally recognize the graduates of the Clear Creek School District class of 2026 for their successful completion of graduation requirements and their contributions to the schools and communities of Clear Creek County. Graduation represents a significant milestone in the lives of our students and reflects years of dedication, perseverance, academic achievement, and personal growth. The district is proud to celebrate the accomplishments of these graduates as they prepare to pursue post-secondary education, career opportunities, military service, and other future endeavors. Members of the class of 2026 have demonstrated resilience, leadership, and commitment throughout their educational journey. Their accomplishments extend beyond the academic achievement and include participation in athletics, performing arts, career and technical education programs, community service, and extracurricular activities. We, as the Board of Education, would like to recognize the graduates for successfully meeting all district and state of Colorado graduation requirements, demonstrating academic growth and achievement, contributing positively to their schools and communities, for preparing for success in college careers, military service, and life beyond high school. These accomplishments reflect the collective efforts of not only our students, but their families, the teachers, the support staff, administrators, and the community partners who have supported their educational journey. The district celebrates the graduating class and looks forward to positive contributions that they make in the future.
Well said. Yeah. I mean, I think it's outstanding. We had, I think, 42 students about to walk across the stage in the end of May, and the accomplishment of each of the students is fantastic. They're all pursuing completely different career and post-secondary options, which I think is really incredible for our students to do so. We had two students that I'd like to just recognize. We have the student
So Maggie,
who got the Daniels Fund Scholarship, full ride scholarship. She's choosing to go on to the Air Force Academy, and so she'll use some of those funds to help her out with that. We have Donovan, who got the Betcher Scholarship, which we haven't received since the late 80s. And so now the challenge is for us to have more students of that caliber graduate from our school every year to also receive the Daniels Fund. He's pursuing his degree at CSU, and I'm excited to see what comes of that endeavor. So, and congratulations to all the students. The students that all receive recognition, those who are pursuing military, those who are going into the workforce, those going post-secondary options. I'm proud of all of them, and so thank you for highlighting that tonight.
thank you for the opportunity. It was nice to be there and to celebrate with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do my superintendent update now. So this first part of my update is kind of proactive. As we've heard, the governor of Colorado has chosen to be part of the Educational Choice of Children Act, which is part of the one big beautiful bill that was passed last July, which allows taxpayers to receive a dollar-to-dollar federal tax credit for up to $1,700 for donations made to approved scholarship granting organizations. Because of this, I want to make sure that we take advantage of it, if that's what our governor chooses to do. There's some discussion whether the folks who are running for governor may choose to change that. If that's possible, I can't speak to that, but I want to be proactive because I believe that's something that will be coming up sooner than later that we need to be prepared for. So I have reached out to the foundation to ask if they would be willing to be the collector of those funds, if that is something that the governor approves, and so they've accepted that. And so the foundation will be working towards creating a separate entity within the foundation, because our current foundation gives scholarship funds for graduates, and the way the guidelines are, they can't also do funding for programming within the school district. So they'll have to be separate entities. We'll get more description of that once they define what that is. Right now, we don't have the parameters for that, but that's the information we've been told so far. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware that I did reach out to the foundation to pursue that, so that taxpayers in Clear Creek County have an option to contribute those funds to the district, or to the foundation, for the benefit of the district.
I wanted to circle back to graduation.
Oh.
Carrie Ann said she was trying to ask a question, but we didn't hear her. She was asking about the graduation rate, and I think it was 93.5.
Ooh, I can't speak to
I know over the
Oh.
last few years.
Yes, so
Yeah.
last year was 93.5. We typically get it in the fall, because it takes a little bit of time to get all the graduates through the process, take summer school programs and so forth to graduate. So last year, the class of 2025, we had 93.5%, which is higher than the state average, and we beat the state average for the last 10 of the last 11 years. So that's quite an accomplishment. I highlighted in my presentation to the community is that because 42 students, if you think of 100% being 42 students, every one of those students makes a significant difference in our graduation rate. So to have a graduation rate higher than the state of Colorado shows the accomplishment of those students, but also to the work of our staff to make sure those students graduate every year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't usually keep my phone up, but since we're having trouble hearing Carrie Ann, I'm gonna keep it.
Any questions about the Education Choice for Children's Act or anything like that? Any questions before we move on?
I have a question about the foundation. They have a matching program for whatever donations they receive. Would that also be applied to this?
You know, that's something to, when we find out what the exact guidelines are from the federal government, I think that was something that Mitch did mention to me, that he does a lot of matching funds. So whether that would be applied or not, there's proposal that there could be a lot of money that could come out of this plan. There's a lot of concerns too for this plan. I just want to make sure we're prepared. So in case it does happen, we're not left not being able to receive those funds when it starts the process, just as preparation, make sure we don't lose out those funds. Next, I'll move to TLC survey, if you don't mind pulling it up. So I've shared with you the document. So every other year, the state of Colorado administered the TLCC survey. It's a survey of staff in our district. This year, our employees, 30 staff members completed the survey. And it really just tells you the professional climate of our district, the student supports received, the support of staff well-being, and the staff reporting of their perception regarding their experience in school. So in this PowerPoint presentation, I just kind of highlight little things. So again, the survey is administered every other year. We had 30 staff complete the survey, and it measures staff perception and the working and learning conditions. Next slide, please. So strengths, I will say, before I jump into the strengths and opportunities, I will tell you 2 years ago, the results were much higher than they are this year. So I want to be very clear of that. Although in some cases we were meeting or matched the state average, we do have some opportunity in helping our teachers have a better perception or experience within our school district.
With which results? Across the board, all of the results, or?
You have the booklet in your packet. If you have there's a link in there that shows you the actual breakdown of it. But
Yeah.
overall, yes, we were down. And I would
And
say
that's
Okay,
response
for
rate?
everything?
pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to make sure I'm clear with that
Okay.
before I jump into, like, I'll talk about strengths, but there's still some decline from previous surveys. So our strengths are professional climate. The teachers feel that there's a strong professional climate, well-being, feeling supported by their peers and so forth is a strong part, and supportive conditions. So mostly that's based on peer-to-peer connections. Challenges, our teachers are saying they need more time to do the work that they need to do, which makes complete sense. We're a small district, and so the work that being, if you're in elementary school, you're probably the only one, there's one teacher in that grade level, so that's a lot of work. You don't have a partner to pair with. When you're in the secondary level, you teach multiple content, so that's a lot of work too. So asking for more time. There is a concern about job satisfaction. There breakdown about concerns regarding on how they feel about their satisfaction job. And then professional development, I will acknowledge that there's a lot of opportunity based on my experience this year. And we're already planning to work with the principals to have conversations with them and planning that, and also with the teachers to make sure we're planning professional that really meets the needs of our staff. We'll do the best we can at individualizing it, but we won't be able to break it down to individualized specific needs, but we'll provide more collaborative time for teachers to work together. So does that mean like a teacher from King Murphy working with a teacher from Carlson in Georgetown? I think that would be beneficial for those teachers to have that opportunity, and also time for teachers and content at the high school and middle school to work together if it's appropriate, because middle school's one teacher per content right now, but having those opportunities to have those conversations, so we have that vertical conversation. One of the things that we really, outside of this, is we realize our teachers don't have a real good sense of how we work vertically from kindergarten up through to middle school up to high school. And we need to have better conversations about that so that we have understanding of what is expected of the next grade the kids are going to, but also recognize the hard work the teachers prior to them are doing to make sure the kids are prepared too. All right, next slide, please. Staff retention. So in that survey, 78% of the staff at the time plan to remain in the same position or a similar position in our district. And one of the things that came up was that opportunity was that compensation is a big one, which we recognize. Recognition for doing a good job. So they feel that there's not a lot of recognition for teachers and their hard work. And they feel the district level leadership really has, in this case, they're saying needs better influence on retention of staff in our district. Professional development declined between 11 and 20 points from the prior survey. So we definitely know that we need to work on professional development. And I would totally recognize that as a need in our district through my experience this year. So we are going to really work closely to make sure it's more meeting the needs of our staff and the needs of our schools. Need for personalized learning, coaching, instructional support. So as I mentioned in the last board meeting, we do need to have an opportunity for instructional coach to work with our teachers to help them with their planning, helping them use the curricular resources, support the learning in the classroom, looking at the students they have in the classroom and how we can meet their needs. I hear from parents too, like, how are we meeting the needs of my child? So we needed some of that instructional coach work. So this year we're fortunate to receive a grant. It's an early literacy grant, so they'll work with preschool through 3rd grade. So we'll have an instructional coach that will share between Georgetown, King Murphy, and Carlson to work on helping the teachers with that. That person will be trained in best practices, and then they will then train the teachers at the schools in those best practices too, or during these professional development do at the district level, and really focusing on reading, writing, and math, which are, I would say we're doing a great job, but we can also make sure we do more work to support our students. And then Jen has done an amazing job working with Kristen and the principals to figure out how do we maneuver some funds that we currently have through grant funds. And so we're going to have a 4th through 12th grade instructional coach that will share between the 3 schools. So it'll be for Carlson, or I should say for King Murphy, the middle school, and the high school. And so that person will be working with teachers throughout the day at each of those sites to work with the staff and helping them with some professional learning, some lesson design, maybe giving teachers some feedback on a practice they want to work on that helps them grow individually. So we're looking really to personalize that. So those positions are currently being posted, and then we will also reach out to some people, solicit them to apply if we know some folks, because we want the best people to work with our staff, and of course, some internal candidates are welcome to apply for that also. So here are the opportunities also to meet the diverse needs of our students. There's a real concern about teachers feeling they're struggling with that. Share responsibility for learning there, and then supportive conditions to make sure they do best. So these are some opportunities that as a district we need to help our teachers with. And I kind of mentioned with the instructional coach, diverse needs of our students. You know, we are a small school, so you have much more diversity in your individual classrooms because we are small. So if you're teaching biology for the course, you have a mixture of kids in that class because of it's small. And so you have every kid that's that grade level for that biology class. So those are examples of the challenges our teachers are facing. And so we want to make sure that we do a better support. And so I think through instructional coach work, through our work with the principals, making sure professional development is more aligned and support of the teachers, I think we'll see these go up through that work. And also through our development of a strategic plan for the district will help us align that work too. One of the things that's across the state, this is a new survey question, is AI readiness. So our teachers say there's a desire we need better understanding of how to use AI, how to not use it, how do we help our students discern how to use AI, or do we want not them using AI because we really want to know what they know, not what AI knows. And so there's some areas for us to work on. We talked a little bit about this year as we talk about technology in the classroom. I think we need to look at best practices through organizations who work across the state of Colorado and across the nation to help us in that lens of professional development. But this is one of the things that staff have asked about.
And we're working with CEI, and they were on the front lines of
Right.
that work for the state. So
That is true.
I think
Yeah.
we might be able to get some help there.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention their name, but yes, they're one of our resources.
Well, oops.
No, that's fine, it's fine. And so, no, I don't,
Yeah.
that's fine, you did that. I just want to make sure
I can say that I worked with them on that work.
Right.
How's that?
we want to make sure we reach out who's the best practices for that. So, and they are included. Yeah. Great. So next steps for us is to analyze the results, which I've given you a copy of those to go through. We can talk about that now. We can think about that as we start looking into next year. We'll be using that for developing the strategic plan. We need to improve our time for teachers to collaborate, which I mentioned earlier, for their professional development, for time for planning. We need to definitely enhance PD effectiveness. And then we need to strengthen our recognition of our teachers and our retention efforts. And I'm committed to doing that moving forward. And we will do what we can to make sure that the folks we've hired, that we support them, make sure they have the resources and the support they need for an instructional coach and administration to be successful next year as we go forward.
I would also like to point out that we haven't talked about results of the evaluation.
Okay.
You just spoke to some of the biggest concerns.
Okay.
So, thank you
Sure.
for already recognizing.
Sure.
Those are some opportunities
Right.
for us.
Right. Yeah. Any more questions regarding the survey?
So I think we probably all will have questions, and I welcome everybody to spend some time on this over the summer. And when I think this will help with the strategic planning,
Right.
unless you have any huge questions right now. It looks like I've got something from Carrie Ann. Oh, just a thank you. But yeah, I would just ask that we take a little bit of time to look at the responses. Say, is there any chance that we could look at the questions that were asked?
You should have the entire.
Oh, okay, I saw the results,
You have
but
the
I must
entire-
not have opened everything.
I've done the
It's
summary.
41 pages.
Okay.
Yes. So I chose to do this,
Mhm.
and then I'm highlighting some of the
Okay.
opportunities. I've done a summary in your cover sheet, and then you have the booklet.
So we don't have the actual survey instrument, we just have like question response.
Yes,
Okay,
which is basically the survey
Okay.
instrument. So it breaks it really down, and you can see like where those individual opportunities are.
do you know if it was short answer or if it was multiple choice?
Is multiple choice.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like scale.
Okay, thank you. Because, yeah, all of that plays into
It's
how
very,
people respond, so, thank you.
there's a lot of information to be had.
That, I know that I haven't had a chance to really.
The overall results,
Mhm.
the one that you were just talking about, if you continue to scroll,
Okay,
every individual question is in there.
Right, so like on my computer, I can, by clicking on the links, it drills down further, but I gave you the full report.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so you go through it.
Well, there you
breaks
go.
down after-
You know now that I did not read the whole 41 pages. I looked at the first few pages and then I read your cover sheet and I said, okay. But thank you, Sydney, for having made it through further. Yeah. I
All
know
right.
you've got more.
Any questions about the TLCC survey besides the,
Yeah, I think we're gonna give ourselves space to come back with questions in August.
Yeah, my biggest question is what are we gonna do with the survey
Yeah.
results?
Yeah.
So,
I think you spoke a little bit to it, but yeah. We have work to do. Yes.
the results are not a surprise. All right, so next one I'm presenting to the board is Senior Gold Card Program. It's a concept I'd like to introduce to our school district. The Senior Gold Card Program is a community engagement initiative designed to recognize and thank senior citizens for their longstanding support of public education. Similar programs implemented by school districts throughout Colorado and across the country provide eligibility for seniors residents with complimentary admission to district-sponsored events and activities, helping strengthen connection between schools and the community they serve. Under the model used by Douglas County, they have a website for this. That's not where I got the idea, but I did search with other schools and that came up. Gold cards are available to qualified senior residents and provide access to many district-sponsored activities, including regular season athletic contests, performing arts events, concerts, and other student activities, subject to facility capacity and event restrictions. For example, playoff games, one of those things that CHAS is really strict on, those who couldn't allow that for free admission. The program serves both the community appreciation initiative and an opportunity to increase attendance and engagement in school events. And so I talked to Principal Andreas, and she's excited about this. They have extra cards, so she's going to work with the ID card print company that we use for that and see if they can make some blank cards that they can run through the printer that they can hand out to senior citizens in our community. And then she's also willing to work with possibly the bus system, the roundabout, to maybe work on certain events that are scheduled during the year, like let's say a performance in the theater, that then they have maybe a special route for that evening to pick senior citizens up and bring them to the event. And so it's non-transferable, but it would be for that individual to, take part and be more engaged with our school community. Many who have maybe gone to the school district themselves or raised their family in, and he gets a chance to re-engage with, see what our amazing students are doing.
The truth is, it's already our practice. This is really just a communication piece. Like, you're welcome here,
Right.
which I think we've always, at least my practice or experience has been, we've fallen short on. So
Right.
this is great.
Okay.
Thank
Good.
you.
Sure. So I will then move forward with working with Maria to get that rolling out. And maybe we have our students go to the senior center or go to places where they can connect with senior citizens and hand out the cards to those folks so that they make a facial connection with students here at the school, and it kind of builds that connection between the two. So.
And not just website access, like to sign up.
No, I'd rather-
That we need to have paper or
do
in
we
person.
need to make it this extensive? Can we just start the communication piece of if you're a senior citizen, you don't have to pay?
Yeah, I mean, you could,
Do we need to make the expense of like cards and stuff like that, or can we just?
Like, are we gonna really turn anyone away if they
No.
don't have a card?
No,
So.
I'm just trying to figure out how to make them kind of special. So you feel like you have that card, you kind of, it's something you can be proud of.
Okay.
I mean, that's
That's a
I'm
way
trying to
to
get a sense of
engage.
ownership, but I mean, no, if
Can it
you're,
just be like a paper card so it doesn't cost
We
much
could
of
do a
anything?
paper card laminated.
okay. I'm open to anything. She said she had extra cards, so we could use the extra cards she had, so. But you're right, we could paper ones, laminate them. I'm good with that. I just want to make it something that they go, I have this.
Yeah.
It could be something on their phone, if they've got a phone.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
whatever lower the barrier.
I know, you go to Goodwill and you say, can I get the senior citizen discount? You just have to show your ID,
Present company
but
included.
they don't have gold. No, you're not 65 yet.
Well, 60.
I don't think you get the discount at Goodwill. in person.
But
You've
good-
been in the
good point.
trenches though, does that count as?
Yeah, so show my show it. But I appreciate the idea, that's great, so thank you, card, we can do something, so we'll work on that.
We should reach out to the PTAs because I think they're gonna be like the Evergreen Lake concert series. That might be a good time to reach out to some of the community and have them pass those out as well. So,
I don't know if I'm ready yet for this summer to do that.
fair enough, but
Yeah,
they're
But the
sometimes out for that.
information could be shared.
we could have let me think about how you work with PTAs, if they're gonna have a table, you could have a table stand that could advertise that.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, okay.
Yeah, you've got a lot of parameters on here. I say get rid of all of them.
Oh, as far as where they live and age and
Yeah.
things like that.
I mean, age, my kids' grandparents don't live in the county, and as much as they don't need a discount, I'm sure they would very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it would make them feel more willing to, I don't know, spend money on merchandise or donate or something like that.
But do we want, I mean, not to be a jerk to the opposing team, or like I say, it was a game, not a performing arts. And then we're not charging their senior citizens. I mean, I don't care. I don't think it's like gonna break the bank because I don't even know how many would come, but then does that kind of take away from the people that were our community that we're letting in?
So I think with the parameters you're referencing, I took this from the school district, i.e. Douglas County, because I found a website that had all their information. And so I took that to create this because I'm sure they have a lot of folks turn out to their events because they're bigger schools than we are. So I think I agree with you saying we're small. So, maybe what we do is they have a driver's license, maybe we can take that as like
Yeah.
you're a county, citizen, you're good. But if you're from like Fort Morgan, maybe,
Or if you're
Big
from
up.
Fort Morgan and you're a guest of
Of a
a Clear Creek student, like if your kids'
Yeah.
grandparents. But if it's the opposing team's grandparent,
they pay whatever
They
the
pay,
rate is, right?
I mean, I don't know if it have to be that.
So that'll be like an honesty rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or something like that.
We're gonna watch when we cheer.
Claps and
$10.
The last thing I have for you is at the last board meeting, it was asked about putting an MOU together for compensation. And I did do some research, and the guidance I was given was that well-intentioned, the concern is that if I create an agreement with staff regarding compensation, it holds future Board of Education to that agreement. And so the concern is that something as a district we want to do?
But
Because,
you can't.
well, I can't.
It's
So
not,
it's not if
so-
you can or can't. So the guidance is we can't do that.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure you're aware that I looked into it, so.
we said we appreciate that too. But yeah, I mean, a future board
What about just like
change that.
an informal email that says, we'll sit down and, like, I intend to discuss this before
Like
December
in
15th
January.
or January, yeah.
So
Yeah.
if the ballot measure passes, then I've said to people verbally, but I have no problem sending email saying that we can discuss in January package if it passes.
Yeah, I
It-
think
It's absolutely our intention
Yeah.
to do the most we can.
I think people would,
Yeah.
I think writing it down would be very well received.
From the board or combined board and superintendent?
Well, it's you that's doing the meeting, so from you.
Okay,
I think
You
you
have
could
our vote,
say with
okay.
the support of the board.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was asking for the support of the board.
Yes, I think.
Yeah. Everybody's okay with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And that's my report.
I'm okay with that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That feedback is.
So we're not voting in this meeting, so, thank you.
You're welcome.
All 41 pages.
Just right.
Thank you. And thank you for everyone who finished all of these questions. Wow. Is Bill with us?
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
So you want to move on to the next item?
Yes, please.
So, The Board of Education hired Bill Ray from WR Communications to conduct a poll of the community. And so we have Bill come online here and share the findings of the survey and give us some guidance on next steps. I believe he's going to talk about also a potential polling that will occur, a second set of polling will occur in July. So I'm going to turn it over to Bill to talk this time.
Thanks, Wes. Everyone can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. I might turn my camera off at some point if my internet connection gets wobbly, so I apologize for that.
Say, Bill, we're not actually seeing you on this end. We've got you just the presentation on the screen. So if that
Camera
makes
off.
you feel better, go ahead and turn it off and we'll ensure a better connection
Sure.
for you.
Camera's off. Is it easier if you run this or should I share my screen?
Right now, Kristen's running it on the screen so we can see it very clearly.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's hard for me to see what you have up. Let me try and change my screen at my end. I apologize.
No worries.
Like it's kind of cut off, but I think it's okay. I know this stuff. So let's just jump into it. Feel free to ask questions along the way, or we can save them till the end. So we put together a survey working with the district team and with you all, the Board of Education. The survey was put out May 6th to June 2nd. There was a postcard sent out. We did a text. I believe the district did some other comms out to the community and the school community to inform people about this survey. We got 248 total responses. And of those responses, I broke out the demographics here for you to see. So as far as age range goes, we were fairly close on several of the age range, comparing it to the voter file for your district. So where you see 226 LV, that is your likely voters in your district that will vote in this upcoming election and the proportion of votes. You can see our survey was a little light on 18 to 34-year-olds, but that it was within pretty good ranges in all the other age groups. When we go to zip code, a lot more aligned with your zip code spreads here. So that was great to see, especially in your largest zip codes, like 80439, 80444, and 80452. I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'm wondering if you turn on mute. Maybe that's
I think we're good now.
okay. A lot of feedback. Okay, that's better. The one thing where we kind of had an imbalance in this survey is 62% of our respondents were female and only about 30% were male. A lot of times I see in surveys on school districts that we get a little higher percentage of female respondents to male respondents. So this one was especially higher here at 62.5%. So we thinking this feedback is me?
I think if you turn your volume down, it will help.
Is that a little better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. When questions come up, maybe put some of them in the chat, just because now I have my volume down really low. Okay, next slide. So our first question in the survey was, how confident would you say you are that the district handles taxpayer money wisely? You can see here that about 42.8% said they felt confident, 42% were not confident. A little more intensity on the not confident at all versus very confident. The confidence number is a little softer at somewhat confident. Next slide. Throughout the survey, I broke out different, some of these questions by some of our demographic measures. So you can see our confidence by age range here. So some of our highest confidence is in that 45 to 54-year-old age group. Great to see older voters. Sometimes they're a little less confident of government, so 65 and olders. Your 18 to 34-year-olds had a high number of unsure. Next slide. And here you can see it by zip code. Pretty high confidence in that 80439, which is your largest zip code. So that's good to see. But that's balanced here. 80452, which is Idaho Springs, which is your second largest. That's where you see that biggest area of not confident at all. Go to the next slide. Okay, so we asked a question to ask people to rate on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, some of the priorities for the school district's resources. Next slide. We stacked them all up. There you can see provide competitive compensation to attract, retain teachers. That was by far, obviously, at almost over 58%. Most important. So the respondents definitely felt that attract and retain teachers is critical use of the district's priority. Second was CTE programs and getting students ready for their careers. But definitely the teacher retention was important, and it was important throughout the survey. Next slide. All right, so here's your mill levy ballot question. So we asked a sample ballot question, probably fairly close to what could appear on the ballot. And you can see here 53.6% were favorable, 40.3% were not supportive of it. One of the things that I definitely like to look at any survey is the balance between people who are definitely yes and definitely no. And you want at least definitely yes to be higher or equilibrium with the definitely no. Those are people kind of who already make up their mind. They don't change their mind. They already know where they're at when the ballots arrive. And so you don't want to be upside down on that number. So it's positive here that those are fairly close, and the definitely yes has a slight lead. The other thing I would say is that the conventional wisdom is that you want this number to be 56% or higher to feel that your ballot question will be successful at the election. So even though this is above 50%, it's still, this is not a slam dunk. This ballot question would need community outreach, engagement, further education, probably a campaign to support it. So it's positive numbers, but it's not home yet. Next slide. So this slide, what we did was, since we had such a imbalance on our gender statistic, we did take a look and we put a weighting on this statistical measurement where it kind of balance out, uses statistics to balance out and that kind of additional response rate from females. And when we kind of weight up the male responses and statistically weight down the female responses to simulate the actual percentages in the voter file and the likely voters, you can see there's a decrease here down to 51.6 and an increase on the no. So it's still over 50%, but I wanted to show you that just to give you some idea on how that might look in a little more balanced perspective. Next slide. Here you can see the mill levy by age range, much more supported by those younger voters. Let's talk about the 55 to 64-year-olds. All across the state of Colorado, every community I've worked with over the past 2 years, 4-year-olds are pretty tax sensitive right now. Pretty wary of tax increases, pretty opposed to those. So not surprised to see that here. I think from working in other places and looking at surveys there, this age group, they've got kids in college, they've got more expensive houses. There's a high tax sensitivity in this age group right now. We normally see that in older voters, but it really made a pronounced shift into those 55 to 64-year-old voters. Next slide. And here you can see the mill levy by zip code. So, the 3 most populous zip codes, 80439. You've got pretty good support, 57% plus there. 80452, that's your second most populous, about 30% of your electorate. A little closer to the line there, that threshold. So, obviously 80439 is pretty critical to this passing, but so are, Georgetown and Idaho Springs areas as well. Next slide. We asked the question, would you be more or less likely to support a $4 million per year mill levy, knowing that it will only increase taxes by about $29 per month? So trying to give folks that fiscal impact. And you can see here, about 35% doesn't change their opinion. And actually, you got a pretty good number here at about 30% saying it actually would make them less likely. So it's not a great argument to go out to the community. It's not a needle mover here. Next slide. We also asked folks, would it change their mind if we reduced the mill levy ask? And obviously that would reduce the tax, but it would also reduce the school district's ability to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. And we asked this question of people who were no or unsure to see if this kind of moved the needle with them. And you can see 55% of those doesn't change their opinion. So I would not just reduce your mill levy in order to build support, because I'm not sure it would build enough support to make a significant difference in the numbers. I think doing more community outreach, education, work like that would have a lot more to do with improving these numbers than reducing the numbers. Yeah, probably a lot of these folks, a tax is a tax is a tax. Tell me what it's for, why you need it, and why I should trust you to spend this money. Next slide. All right. So we also asked some different questions about what the mill levy would support and how that impacted people's consideration of supporting it. So you can see here, would you be more or less likely to support it, knowing that it would make more general fund dollars available for teacher staff recruitment? Clearly, this is an important issue to get out to the community, to share this broadly. 66% said they'd be more likely to support the mill levy knowing it. Very important message for the community. Next slide. And you can see I broke this out by age group as well. Much more important among younger voters, probably because they have kids.
Bill, we lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. We lost the part about the folks who in the 18 to 34, and then you stopped talking at that point.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just said, 18 to 54-year-olds, that's a much more important argument, probably because they have kids in the school system. Next slide. And here you can see it by zip code. Strongest in Evergreen, but also pretty well supported in the Georgetown and Idaho Springs zip code. Next slide. According to CTE, this was the second strongest at 64%. So once again, really important. Not as strong, as 55 to 64-year-olds, not as responsive to that, but it's still pretty good across age range. We can scroll through the zip codes. The next slide. There it is by zip code, so pretty strong across the zip codes in the district. Next slide. There's a lot of slides here. I want to be respectful of your time tonight. We asked this salary compared to the state average and being able to have a multi-year salary program to keep and retain teachers. That's even a stronger message at 73%. We're really kind of making that connection on our teacher salary helped with that message. You can see once again, that's strong across all age groups. And then to the zip codes, likewise should be pretty strong across all the zip codes. Okay. Let's see, we asked a question about our school buildings, our learning spaces, our physical needs, and so we can scroll through those as well. This led up to the bond question. So you can see here, climate-controlled spaces, pretty strong, 65%. Go to the next slide. Improvements to aging buildings also really well received at 64.5%. Next slide. Repairing plumbers, boilers, that was very strong, almost 76%. Safety and technology, also strong, 76%. So a lot of agreement from folks about ongoing maintenance, improvement to the buildings. They want you to take care of the buildings. Let's keep scrolling, trying to be respectful. Then we asked the bonding question. So a ballot question very similar to what would be on the ballot. And unfortunately, that was not as well received. Only 31% yes, 55.6% no. And you can see those definitely yes and definitely no is, that's way out of people. You can see it here by age. There's not even an age group that's at 50%. sort of zip, and not even a zip code that was at 50%, even the heavily populated zip codes. Keep moving. So we tried to see if the cost of the bond at $7.53 a month would move the needle, and it does. 47% said they'd be more likely to support that, but I don't think that gets that number still over 50%. I think a bond would be a pretty tough ask right now with this election. We also asked, would it make any difference, similar to the mill levy, to reduce the amount down to 20 million, also reducing what we can accomplish with the bond, and likewise, 54.5% that it did make or a difference to them. And then we wrapped up the quantitative part of the survey with question about what's your main reason for no unsure. A good note here is the biggest one was other, and in the coming slides it'll show you some of those comments, but the second biggest was they need more information. That is kind of a positive, that folks really want to learn more and understand more about the bond and the need. I won't read through all of these. You have this in your packet, but I tried to group them up. And people just wanting to share. Some folks said, well, I support the mill levy because I want to support teachers, but I don't want debt. I don't like the bond. And then concerns overall about the bond, about debt, and finding other ways to accomplish these projects without having more debt for the school district. It's tough the way ballot questions have to be written using the words debt in there. Just people have a visceral reaction to that, especially when gas is $4.50 a gallon right now. So I'm going to pause there for any questions, and apologies for the feedback on the audio.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, please.
Bill, based on the time period, the period of time that we did the polling and the responses you're receiving, does that mirror other polling you've done for other public entities in our community? So like for the county or for any of the cities or fire or police or anything like that, is it pretty similar, the response rate, or is it different?
So no, the response rates I've gotten for the county, the fire district, or the fire authority have been very similar.
Okay.
It's important not to focus on quantity, it's quality. It's, do we have a good balance of age? Do we have a good balance of our zip codes, which we did? We got pretty good balance on age. Our survey was pretty heavy weighted toward female respondents. But I really look at the balance of the respondents more than I look at the quantity of respondents.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate that.
Say, Bill, this is Jessica. My question is, do you think that there's a chance that more people who would just vote no, just threw the postcard away and didn't respond? Does that make sense?
I usually find people who want to vote no want to have their voice heard, and they usually take the survey. Actually, it's the yes voters who are the silent majorities in a lot of these surveys. Actually, those no voters want their voices heard. No taxes.
I appreciate hearing that experience, because I admit that was a little nervous. Yes, Carrie Ann.
Hi, Bill. I was wondering, just looking at the survey and having answered Wes's question about what some of the other surveys you've seen and the resulting measures that they were able to pass, are we as a district anywhere near ready to go for a mill levy, or I'm guessing, we have a strong response on the strongest response on the 4 million. Is that what you're seeing as well?
So a great question. So clearly you're not ready for a bond. I think we can all agree on that. So we just move that to the side for now. On the mill levy, I think you're close, but I think you have work to do to educate and outreach to the community. I think you need, from reading your open-ended comments, which I probably had shared with you or will have shared with you, you do have like a fiscal transparency, fiscal accountability gap that you have to overcome a bit. And I think you need to get out there and talk to the community and share any success that you've had with fiscal transparency, fiscal accountability, and then you transition that into mill levy and why you need it and how it allow the school district to do more toward these two really key things: attracting and retaining teachers and supporting CTE. I would not make your mill levy much more than that, right? I think that's what people want you prioritizing. That's what they value. And so I would keep it pretty focused on those, but I think you definitely need to wrap in that fiscal accountability message into that. Look, the district itself has until when you refer a question to the ballot to still do community outreach. You can do mailers. You can put stuff on social media. You can host open houses or town halls. You can go speak at every organization or anywhere you can find that'll let you come and make a presentation. It all matters. It all moves the needle in the right direction. You're kind of close. It's not a slam dunk, but it might be worth continuing that engagement and conversation with your community on these needs, because the needs aren't going to go away, right? They're not like if you don't do it this year, all of a sudden it's not a problem next year, right? So you have to have the conversation with the community.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
I agree that the survey responses align with what I'm hearing from folks who attend my presentations. The compensation for staff is the priority. CT programming for our high school students is secondary. So it aligns completely with the questions and the nodding of the heads I see in my presentations. We were just having a conversation here offline. We have created a website or web page on our district website. It's not active right now, but it outlines the needs of our district. So we're still working to get that up and live. And I just asked Jessica, and I know we mentioned in previous board meetings, groups I need to talk to. I need to get those scheduled. As we're going through this transition with administrative assistant, I need to get that coordinated. So we'll get that going here. They'll be hitting it hard in July for sure.
Yes, Carrie Ann.
I was just going to say, I mean, it is a little frustrating with all of the efforts that we have made on the financial transparency side of things, but obviously we haven't made the mark. And I know that we just have to keep trying on that. But I know Jessica, Marcy, and I, and the new ladies, yes, you're on it as well. But, we've spent years now changing how the financials are presented, where they're presented, allowing for questions to come to us. We changed our whole budget. What I'm getting at is people obviously aren't catching that. And maybe if we just put together a list of all the things that we have done as a board the last 3 or 4 years to accomplish those transparency things, maybe they just don't even know that it's being offered.
Well, and Wes, last night off the record too, suggested maybe like a quarterly some posts on our website and social media, just getting it out to the community of our financial information, just, bullet points or something really easy to understand, really easy to read.
Just improving that accessibility.
Right. So
Because
that if they can't come to a meeting or they don't want to listen to a meeting or, it's just like a quarterly update of how we're doing and something that's really easy to read.
And maybe we can put a link in the board communications to the community, that there's links there they can click on to see that, so they can, the report's given out to our families, so we'll have to figure out how we get beyond that, because clearly we're missing a number of folks in our community who are not parents or connected to our school district. So trying to figure out what that looks like is gonna be the challenge we need to face, and I agree, the board has done a lot of that work. Unless you're watching this meeting or you're here in the room, you're not. So how do we get beyond the four walls of our district to connect with those folks who are outside? So I think a quarterly or annual report would be a great way of doing it. Clearly, we need to do it sooner than later because people are wondering, that's a question. So we've got to figure out how to get it in the hands of our families, of voters,
the stakeholders.
stakeholders, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate your time, and yeah, this is some heavy stuff. But thank you for letting us know that there's a chance if we put some work in, and we'll look at those numbers again in August.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so some work to do in July.
Right. And piggybacking off of Bill's, while Jen comes over here, Jen did send an email to the board, thinking about ballot measure, what the language we'll use. So thinking about what was shared tonight, start thinking about what you want that ballot language to look like. So when we start reconvene in August to look at the updated results, can have an idea of what the voters will what will resonate with our voters, our stakeholders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome, Jen.
Hi,
Do you want anything shared or not yet?
I don't think for this piece.
Okay.
Um,
Any questions that you received for
I did not receive any.
monthly expenses? Carrie Ann, did you have any questions?
I do. Just a quick one, and it's a follow-up from a previous question I had asked Jen. What the threshold was for when an IT component becomes a capital expenditure or just a supplies. Like I think I saw a $14,000 supply for IT, and that feels a little off. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't know.
That was a combined purchase that was actually 38,000. It was the DAG that Kristen had presented at the prior board meeting. And we received approval because it's to be reimbursed by E-rate.
Thank you.
Yes.
Was that clear, Carrie Ann?
Now I'll ask offline. Thanks.
I just was wondering, the Bidler Water Company, the water rights, is that just an annual payment that we make?
It is, yes.
I probably ask that question every year.
And that's the water that fills the pond that waters all of our fields.
Yes.
Irrigation, that's the word I want. There's a word.
Yeah, there weren't too many notable expenses on this. A lot of the expected monthly recurring and end of year, kind of supply wrap up. I always send the recap of the expenses over 10,000. Though most of them have already been approved. I don't think any of them are outside of budget or without prior knowledge from you guys. There was the Flag Star payment for the TMF loan. Blue Sky BOCES is a monthly expense, the DHE, and that was approved prior for the reimbursement by E-rate. There are 3 that went under, or 2 that were the insurance claims. And I have received a good portion of that reimbursement from them. There's only a handful of lingering payments that we have submitted that we are ready to be reimbursed for, and then a few that we have not submitted payment for, as the projects have not been wrapped up yet. Monthly expense for UMB, monthly expense for soaring, the Vidler water, annual expense for water rights, a final grant spend down that was funneled through the bond for the Clear Creek Schools Foundation, reconciled to the penny that will be off the books for next year, and it's not included in the adopted budget, or the proposed budget. It's still in proposed state. Core is a monthly expense over 10,000, and I think that was it. There is a 10,575 purchase. It's going up here in June since we're not having a meeting. Thought I would just call it out now. BTS for Keegan Murphy's repairs. Since we don't have a monthly June Q&A, just put that on the books that one's going to be hitting.
Thank you so much. Sure. See, any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to the budget presentation.
Okay. We can start with just the very first FY27 general fund.
This one or this one? Or just pick one and see if it's the right one?
Let's do that.
Is
That
that
doesn't it look like it? There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to highlight the changes on the summaries of, that's not it, I'm sorry, it's the other one.
Oh.
Sorry, that's okay. Highlight the changes from the proposed to the adopted. And I will go by the funds that were affected. Under the general fund, there's several tabs across the bottom that are by site and location. I did not highlight or call out any of those details because they're kind of obvious what's going to happen. Salary and benefit lines are going to obviously increase, as well as the high school is going to see increases and things like that, but they're just going to fall in line with what happens on the main general fund changes. So since the, hold on, I should have a better note. Since the proposed budget, the district recognized modest increases in both revenues and expenditures. So the revenue increases are approximately $210,000, and those are driven by $200,000 increase to the federal forest funds. I did speak with Colton from the county, and he confirmed we do expect to receive those next spring as well. And he does not see any reason why it would not be renewed this November for further years to come. So one day we can start to consider those federal forest funds as more of an ongoing revenue instead of one-time dollars.
Is that carry on?
Okay.
In November, can I ask a question now or should I wait?
Oh, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So in November, when you find out more information, will you find out like how long we can rely on this? And
I
like-
believe they would have an end date on it,
Okay,
unless they do like an evergreen encompassing thing, but historically they've had year annual blocks. I think it was 5 years the last time.
okay, and they give like a general range?
No, it goes up and down. It's kind of driven by our assessed valuation for
Okay,
the county.
okay. Do you feel like you would have a idea
Well,
of what you would expect?
our valuation this year was the highest it's been since 2018-19.
That was a multi-year payout, wasn't
What's that?
it? Wasn't that a multi-year payout?
I don't believe ours actually was. I think we received the funds. I don't think we got any retro payments in this. I think ours only increased simply because of the increased assessed valuation.
So do they owe us
I don't think that they do. I looked at our historical amounts and they were pretty comparable to what we got this year. Slightly lower, but because we had, lower valuation then too. So we increased, the FY '27 revenue line, $200,000. It had already been budgeted at $144,000. So that's having us receive $344,000. This year we received 488. So is it a very conservative increase? Yes. Is it likely going to be more? Yes. But the county also budgets pretty conservatively because you don't know exactly what you're going to receive. So I think that's a fair place to put us, knowing that there's a good chance we're going to come out ahead, and that's going to help our bottom line at the end of next year when we're looking into this.
And we're also budgeting to spend a little bit more than.
True, we do in a negative position, and I think what we would gain from that is going to be enough to offset that. So I think that's a good thing to keep in mind when we look at the bottom line here, the net change in fund balance, that there's a good chance we'll come out ahead. Colton also confirmed that the BOCC is going to be meeting next week, and the IGA will be coming soon to us for FY '26, and there's no reason to believe that the 50% wouldn't be given to the district again. Another revenue increase is $7,099 from the School Finance Act. It has been finalized, so these numbers are concrete in what we're going to receive, just pending enrollment. We also increased our mill levy override adjustments by $2,000 from that School Finance Act change. Our expenditures increased by approximately $307,000, and that includes increasing Warren Tech tuition, $114,000. The salary and benefit adjustments, the steps and COLAs, is going to be $179,000. The numbers presented in the past was 218, but that included the revision to the classified salary schedule. However, that had already been accounted for in this budget, so that's where you're going to see a little discrepancy, but that's because it was already accounted for. 14,000 is going to be an increase for the retention and recruitment stipend. I think I said maybe 10 or 12 at the last meeting, but with the ASD program, the need for pairs is going to increase, and that's going to be out of next year's budget. So it's going to be 14,000 for the retention and recruitment stipend in FY '27. So the net impact, the overall budget changes reflect a net reduction of $97,815 from the proposed budget. If you scroll down just a tiny bit, will you scroll up a little bit? Oh, we're not on the right document.
Do we go to the other one or a different page?
Yeah, the general fund, but not the one with the high school. It starts with just general fund. That's the one, yeah. So that $97,000 difference, let's scroll down a little more. That's not it. It should be titled FY '27 General Fund. I see you clicking on it, I'm not sure why it's not pulling it up. Not that all other funds, it's, I think the lower down one. Yeah, that one.
That's the one we were on. Is that what you want?
But it doesn't say that title at the top.
Our packet has general fund, board budget adopted detail, and then adopted summary.
I think you're looking
Yes.
for the summary.
It's the summary. There we go. Okay, and we just scroll down a little, okay. So there you can see that net change in fund balance. The original proposed budget had a positive ending fund balance of, I think it was 55,000, and now it's in a negative deficit of 41,000. You can see that's comparable to years past. We had a $31,000 deficit in 24, 25. That one was originally adopted and projected at an $800,000 loss and came in at only 31. This year we had originally budgeted with an operating loss of 154,000. You can see we're actually going to assumingly end the year at a $500,000 increase or positive position. And so I feel like FY27 though, it's in a negative position as of now. With any luck or cost savings or an increase in that federal forest funds, we're going to end in a positive position as well.
And that includes the one-time increased cost for Warren Tech.
It does.
Okay.
I have a general budget question, nothing to change this or anything, but for future or maybe amending later. Have we ever considered putting aside dollars for our educators that have children that are not school age but want to participate in our programs, but can't afford it and have to, and therefore are going to another district that provides that?
What's that a question? Not school age children.
No, so like preschool.
Oh, like a scholarship.
A scholarship or some
Scholarship,
sort of
benefit.
a benefit that we would be able to provide so that they can continue to stay in our district and teach instead of teaching in a neighboring district.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I have not. I mean, I thought of that idea when I had Noah and was putting her in pre-K. I was like, I don't get an employee discount, but it hasn't been brought up before. But
Wouldn't we just put that as like basically we would take away it from our preschool funding, knowing that we would maybe have some scholarships? Because obviously that would take away some of the funding. So we would look at our budget and say, hey, we're going to receive less because we know we want to offer this to our employees. And certainly it's a discussion among the board if that's an incentive we want to offer. And I agree with Marcy. I think it's something that needs to be looked at where, we lose educators in our district who are going outside of our district because the other district offers to go there. And we are student-centered, child-centered. It feels a little weird.
yeah, if we're speaking strictly like the pre-K age, to offset that expense, I think we would have to increase maybe our transfer in, because the pre-K account itself is still operating at a deficit, and so it's supported through our transfer in, but I think perhaps our transfer in amount has been reduced from 2 years ago.
It just seems, it might cost us money, but it's also costing us money to lose educators who are fully trained up and certified and licensed and everything. Then we're stuck trying to hire and train up and certify. So it might be a wash.
Yeah,
The UPK program also helps considerably with offsetting that cost. So,
But that's like what is the age on that?
it's 4. You can enroll your child in preschool at 3 in the district, but you don't get the UPK unless your child's on an IEP at that age.
or have 2 qualifying backers, income, and there's a couple of other, I think, multi-language or English being a second language. There's a couple factors that can do that. Even Noah, my daughter, she came in October, but because her birthday was October 16th, I paid the full amount for 3 and 4. So could see a great benefit to that, and I think it's a nice thing to offer our educators, so.
I mean, if we
That helps with retention, like you're saying,
Mhm.
which is something we
What
were
we're
talking
working
about
on, yeah.
earlier, yeah.
So if that's something the board would like us to pursue, if you could give us kind of an example of a school district that's currently doing that, then we could look at modeling ours out and then present it to you all. The wonder is the timing, we'd have to do that August 12th. What that package would look like, because there would be a cost that we would incur, but if that's what the board wants us to do, we can put something together, put a proposal together so that staff, whether they're classified or certified staff, could apply for that scholarship or that program, and then we can make sure that we have a place of structure for that.
Carrie Ann has her hand up.
Go ahead, Carrie Ann. So we can't hear you.
Okay, let me try that.
There you are.
I'm trying, I'm going through all of the what ifs, and I think that maybe this gets to the level of a bit of an employee policy situation, because we don't know whether or not our program is going to be full. And do we give deference for a teacher, at least hold one spot? And if there isn't one, then we release it. We hope it's a successful program and that it's always going to be full. And that's probably where we have a crux.
So what I thought I heard was, what would it cost to just hold a spot for educators? And if it isn't used, then we can make it available to the community?
I just think that if our program is full, we can't offer it to them, right? So are we going to hold a spot and make sure that we're holding and reaching out? And if it doesn't get filled, then we put it out to the public. We want our program to be successful. But I think we have to be aware of the fact that we may be full, but yet we're offering an incentive, and how do we handle that?
That makes sense.
The numbers are always changing so frequently though, so.
They do change
Yeah, right now,
regularly.
a lot of parents are shopping for preschool programs because they want to make sure their child's accepted to a local one, so
Yeah.
you have a lot of crossing district and areas to get their student to a program. So I hear what you're saying, agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I think, again, I'd like to do some research.
Yeah.
And put a proposal together. And also, my wonder is, I'm curious how many staff members would want to participate in this?
Right.
Or would it help us recruit staff members to work in the district, especially in the classified realm, or potential postings right now for open teaching positions that they might apply because this availability. So I think it is an asset. I just need to get some scope of cost, number of folks,
Right.
parameters as far as full programs and so forth. So we can present that in August
Okay.
for the first meeting to get some approval, because school starts very soon right after that.
Is it, with the timing of when people enroll in preschool, is it already kind of late in the game for August?
It
I don't
is,
know.
it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm just being conscious of our time, where we are right now. You guys maybe want to discuss in July. Maybe that's something that comes up then, and then we get the word out sooner. Because there's a potential you guys might have a conversation. So that could be part of a topic that's added to that agenda. That then, if we get in early July, then we can get word out soon enough that people would know about that option. So you're right, August is really late. And so I think maybe using July to do that.
It is really late, however, the numbers, the ECE enrollment for the summer have skyrocketed.
Really?
So, even though it might be late, it still could be advantageous.
Right, I agree.
I was just thinking for planning purposes.
Yeah.
That was, even our educators, like, they probably already know where their child's enrolled for next year. So it might be a slow adoption, is what I'm thinking.
I think it'll probably cost us less than we're anticipating because of the UPK.
Yeah, I agree with you. A good topic, thank you.
Speaking on the pre-K piece, this year's budget would have us, and having a net change in fund balance of only $200. That's with a $100,000 transfer in. However, the resolution does encumber the fund balance that has grown a little bit, so they have a small projection for fund balance. And so that gets appropriated in the resolution, so there is wiggle room without having to amend the budget if we needed to spend outside of that.
Would the foundation be willing to partner with us on some of that
They do scholarships right now in the community for,
for preschool?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I want to see, did you do it for staff already too?
there were staff.
Yeah, so. I
Is
think
it, you just have to qualify for it or
There was
just
just
apply?
an application. I'm not even sure if there were particular qualifications for it. You did enter a lot of personal information, but the scholarship at our school was awarded, I think, 8 scholarships. And then I know he does it with other pre-K or childcare in the community outside of just the school district as well. And I believe he said that he was intending to offer that scholarship again next year.
for staff too.
There was an employee, I believe, that received it, so I don't think that disqualifies you.
So maybe we can look at expanding that as a way of helping with the cost.
Okay. So taking the total expenditures, and the remaining fund balance, you can see the, general fund resolution there. Before we'll get to another page that has a summary of these for all the funds. If there aren't any other questions regarding general fund, we can move on to, the other funds that were affected by the changes since the proposed. So now if you'll pull up the one that was all other funds. Thank you. Okay, there were no changes to the building fund. Would you tab over to the one that, or scroll down to the one called Capital Reserve Fund? Perfect, okay. So on the Capital Reserve Fund, the changes that you'll see here from the proposed would just be expenditures reduced by approximately $235,000. And that just includes the $235,000 budget being removed from the vehicles line. The net impact of that is just that the projected use of fund balance went from a $240,000 net loss just to a $5,000 net loss. If there's no questions on capital reserve, we'll move down to food service. So food service is impacted in the expenditures line. It increased by $6,061, and that's just a salary and benefit adjustment for the steps and COLAs. There are no stipends in this as that's going to be located in the grant fund.
Say all of it's in the grant fund?
It is.
Okay, even those dollars that were, so we'll move dollars into the grant fund to cover those that aren't covered by the grant?
From what I believe, I think we will only have 6,000 in those stipends. So that's gonna be fully funded by the grant. If somebody leaves mid-year and we hire somebody else on, then this fund is gonna be impacted, but I didn't account for that because there's normally cost savings with the salary and benefits anyways.
Thank you.
Yes. So the net impact here is just a net reduction of $6,061 from the proposed budget. And the last fund that was impacted by the changes would be this preschool fund. The revenue increased by approximately $1,500, and that was primarily driven by a recent release of increased UPK contribution rates from the state. And based on the current projection of what we have that will be taking the UPK, we increased that line just $1,500. And then the expenditures also increased, 9,661 for salary and benefit adjustments. So the overall, budget changes reflect a net position of 8,161 from the proposed budget. The fund balance shifted from positive gain of 838,366 to just $205. But we were still able to maintain a positive fund balance even with the compensation increase in this fund. And the stipend is not in this as it is all in FY26 for retention instead of recruitment. So those are my notes on that. Did anyone have any questions on any of those changes? I think I didn't tell you to pull up a document, but would you be able to? It's okay if you can't.
No, I should be able to,
Okay.
in the budget, in your folder.
Mm-hmm. And it just should be titled Adopted Budget Resolution 2627.
Could it be in the business meeting?
Oh, duh, we're doing that then. I'll pause.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have for the adopted budget.
Any questions?
So I just appreciated the budget update summary that. Thank you again for dumbing it down for all of us.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
good, I don't wanna spend another 2 hours on. A lot to digest, sorry guys. My goal for next year is to scale those down a little bit.
Yeah, now we're on to the ECE resolution for the playgrounds. I'd like to say that we just got an email saying congratulations that we have received the funds, or that we have been selected. Thank you. I should have read it directly from, for here, we wanted to just look at the resolution, see if there were any questions. I know there have been questions about, Mitch had broken out 42,000 and change. That was some indirect funds, and I just wanted to confirm with you that those were indeed revenue funds to us, not funds that we were going to be spending to make the grant happen.
Yes. Specifically when it comes to the DOLA grant that we're discussing, the total operating expense is $486,000, and the DOLA grant does allow for a 7.5 indirect cost rate, which would generate 36,517 in indirect revenue to Clear Creek. If you add that revenue as well as the 6,240 reimbursement revenue for our faculty or facility staff support, that would come to that 42,757. That's proposed revenue in that grant budget. Grants fund mostly for the direct cost of the program, so that's what the operating expenses. That can be salaries, training, supplies, equipment, purchase services. But every program relies on the district services that support it behind the scenes. That can be business office doing payroll or accounts payable, processing invoices, HR, technology, utilities, audit services, and all those other administrative functions. And that's where indirects are federally approved method reimbursing the district for those shared support services. With this particular grant, it would most likely offset the general fund's administrative costs associated with supporting this grant, including district leadership and finance. I know Wes is going to be pulled into quite a bit of those kind of conversations and meetings, and then there's often support from myself, Kristen, and Tammy. And that's how they come up with that percent and a fair amount to reimburse us for our work on these grants. So it is in fact revenue.
Thank you. Any questions? Say, if it's all right, I'll read the letter. Oh, go ahead, Carrie Ann.
Thank you. I don't necessarily have a question. I've been struggling with this the last few days, certainly after reading the survey and looking, in the future and joining long range. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I just, our community is overwhelmingly telling us to focus on our teachers and retention. And I know that this is kind of a free project, but it's not really free. Even in the budget for the grant, it is calling out the minimum of $7,000 a year for our maintenance. And then probably in 10 years or so, we're going to have replacement values. And I think 7,000 is probably light because we haven't incorporated insurance into that, and we're opening up to the community to use. I'm having a really hard time accepting this right now, especially with everything else going on in our community and what they're telling us.
Thank you. Like I hear your question or concerns. I would say that we have this public space that this grant is going to help us to complete and finish and make usable. So working with community partners to help us finish those spaces will be valuable to us and will pay us back in dividends.
But how? How does the playground help us get a return?
Well, it's not only, some of this is playground, but the project as a whole, pre-K requires outdoor space, period. To open a qualified preschool space, you must have those playgrounds. And our community partner has gone after a grant, and we've just received word that we have been selected. So it seems.
That's amazing, and I get all of that, but also our community partner is our tenant and hasn't started their functionality of that program. And I just have a hard time, we always want the programs to be successful, and this is a tenant on a lease. What happens if that lease dissipates? Where are we on the playground right there?
This is going to improve our space, so if down the road, if what I'm hearing is that worst case scenario happens and they aren't able to maintain their lease, we still have an improved space that our children can use. And it is our practice right now for the community to use playgrounds and the spaces around the school. So again, why would we not accept these funds to improve those spaces for better outcomes for the whole?
I think the public would receive it well, they would be excited about a new playground, and while you can't put like a financial number on that, it could potentially create interest in coming to the school district, or, changing where their kids' enrollment is, or just people's view in general of the school district. So potentially even helpful towards ballot measures, honestly.
Well,
Yes.
So it might not be financial, but
right, well, and if our tenant situation falls through, we then already have a preschool playground, which is the logical fill for that space, whether it's this tenant or a different one. So I think that could have some long-term benefit as well.
in worst case scenario, if we have to buy out the remaining cost, at least there was a significant amount that was covered with the grant. That would be worst case scenario.
I'm just relaying and repeating what my conversations in the community are when I'm discussing this, and people are not stoked about us taking on another capital project. I'm sorry, I can't say all people. I can only say the few that I've spoken with on that front. It is, and our survey has shown they don't want us to do any more capital addition.
I'm still struggling to see the significant cost to us by allowing this partner to improve our space.
I think the cost is essentially $10,000 a year at this point, and I think that that's probably more than we should be contributing for something that our community is telling us overwhelmingly that they don't want us to do capital projects.
If it leads to one additional student, it pays for itself. So we pull in one pre-K and it brings an older sibling back into the district, it's paid. So
Oh, no,
don't
and
see
I
that-
get it. I get the feeder program, but I don't think that the playground is essential to the feeder program. I think we've done a lot as a district. We've given up a lot to supply our partner with an amazing space to complete. It hasn't been started. And so I'm just, cart horse things.
Was the feedback for, the ballot stuff? So it said no more capital projects, but did
It
it say?
said no more bonds.
Oh, did it?
No,
did
it didn't, well, yeah, it did say that, but it also said,
Didn't it say-
spend money on like teachers, people, not buildings.
And we
Like-
do that by increasing students.
Didn't they
Right.
say though that, they are okay with improving spaces, just not on the dime of the ballot measure? That's kind of how I interpreted that.
Improving spaces was,
So like if we
So I
could
think-
improve it without using that money,
yes.
We need to make it clear that it's not coming from our budget mostly. I understand the maintenance end of it. And make sure that it's clear that there's a grant and a partnership.
And once that is up and going, they're paying us rent.
Yeah.
So it's going to pay those maintenance costs.
A very nominal rent.
You know what? It is paying us back in spades in other ways. It truly is.
No, I get that. And that's exactly why we negotiated the contract that we did, basically giving away the space so that we could have that feeder program into our school system. I'm very proud of that project, and getting that going is fantastic. I just, I'm really having a hard time expending any more money on a space that doesn't necessarily, yes, I know that they need to have a play schools or a play area, but it should, I don't feel comfortable.
We're spending on, like, I heard the potentially 10,000 in maintenance, insurance. What is the other cost that you're concerned about?
I think isn't that enough of the expenditure of our staff, maintaining it, putting it on our long range capital planning, and
Their
other
rent
things.
is going to be greater than that.
So Carrie Ann, if they were already moving forward on their tenant relationship with us, would you feel more comfortable if the playground was like the second step?
I would feel more comfortable, and I would be able to argue to the community that, this is a space. We are working towards a space, but right now I don't see that we're actually working towards a space.
That would be my question, is if for some reason it did fall through and we moved forward with the playground, do we, what does that look like?
So the playground doesn't have to be completed, and it's in a different form, and I don't have it in front of me, by 29, correct? So it does not have to be the first thing that's done, but we would kind of be crazy not to accept this grant that will help us complete these spaces.
wasn't there a caveat, we could accept it, we could also give it back?
So we can always give grant dollars back.
Well, I guess, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sydney. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
There wouldn't be like a net cost on like taxes or whatever. It would just be like,
It's
never,
grant.
never mind,
It's good.
yeah.
If the project is only a 3-year timeline, and if we get the 42,000 in indirects, that would give us 14,252 in revenue for those 3, per year. I don't know if that gives Carrie Ann the peace of mind of what expenses you think we're going to incur, if that 14,000 is enough to offset it.
And that's just for managing the grant. Is that?
The indirect.
Yeah. So that's
And-
even
and
before we're
for-
Well,
receiving.
no, the foundation is managing the grant and they're getting $60,000 to do that. Under the grant, we are obligated 60 some hours in our facilities, employees to contribute towards that. And I'm hearing now that the 42,000 is coming back to us from those 60 hours. I
Correct.
don't, that's what I'm understanding. But still, that's a lot to ask our maintenance facilities team to do when they're, have we asked them? If that's okay. It's a lot to me. I would feel, and thank you for the question, I would feel a lot more comfortable with this if I saw any kind of construction happening on the space that currently is being leased. Is there a way for us to not allow for the playground construction? And we have discussed this before and we were assured that we could get this, but I'm not sure I see the vehicle for it. Is there a way to ensure that the construction of the main project is substantially completed before they start this?
I thought that there was a note about that. Let me.
There was a note and some words, but I'm not seeing where it's written anywhere in any of our,
So can we do that in our MOU and still accept these funds in our business meeting?
The suggestion of significantly completed, should we, does it
define that?
Yeah, or does it have to be like close to completion? Could it just be started?
Would our staff have the bandwidth to do the building and do a playground at the same time?
Well, it just gives them a little bit of wiggle room for how they want to manage their time.
And they'll have different teams doing those different projects. People who build playgrounds do not typically build.
There might be like a weather timeline too.
I would feel better about it if it was at least started.
Yeah.
Building project.
I think that seems like a fair ask.
But again, that doesn't really affect our ability to accept the funds from the grant. But,
Accepting the funds and approving the contract are two different things.
yes,
The funds are for the contract, so.
Yeah, I think accepting them would be something we're comfortable with.
Mhm.
But having that discussion of, we want to see progress before movement on the playground seems like it would alleviate.
yes.
Yeah.
And I thought that we had at least a handshake agreement that construction internally would be started before the stuff outside, that they have 3 years to complete that outdoor work, and it won't take 3 years to complete a playground. I would like to just read the letter into the record. Congratulations, after a thorough review, I am excited to offer a grant award for the Community Schoolyards Grant Program in the amount of $392,559 to assist with the construction of the above-mentioned project, Yard 26-001, Clear Creek School District Schoolyards, Carlson Elementary. This grant is contingent upon submission of a signed resolution and a signed community use agreement by August 1st, 2026. Your project was reviewed based on a variety of factors such as demonstration of need, design features, measurable outcomes, amount of request, relationship to community goals, level of local match and community support, readiness to go, and clear alignment with statutory goals to address inequities in communities impacted by mineral and mineral fuel development. This grant offer is made from federal mineral lease FML proceeds. Please contact your, anyhow, the rest of it's how to accept those. But again, I think it's a really big deal that we received these funds, that we made it through the process. So if there aren't any other questions, we'll discuss this again in the business portion of the meeting. Anything else, Carrie Ann?
No, thank you. Thanks for the discussion.
Yeah, thank you. All right, on to the MOU for Colorado Adventure Guides.
So to support our outdoor rec and tech program, the administration is recommending the approval of the memorandum of understanding between Clear Creek School District and Colorado Adventure Guides to provide outdoor vocational education, industry recognized certification opportunities for students beginning in July of 26. The partnership aligns with the district's commitment to expand career technical education pathways and provide students with authentic, place-based learning experiences connected to the outdoor recreation industry, a significant economic sector of our community. Through this partnership, students will have access to professional level training in avalanche safety, rescue operations, river guides, swiftwater rescue. Successful participants will earn industry recognized certification, including, sorry, I can't say all those things. But basically they'll learn how to do a lot of these safety rescuing efforts. And they will also get Colorado State River Guides qualifications, which helps them, whether they choose to go into that industry when they graduate or to pay for their college education or things like that. While they're going to college, it's a great opportunity for our students. And it's a well-recognized organization here in Clear Creek County.
Thank you. So it would be your suggestion that we sign this?
My recommendation is that it's been reviewed, and my recommendation is that it be signed.
I just would like to know how it's gonna be communicated to families that after this coming year, Warren Tech is gonna be a little bit more.
This is part of the outdoor rec and tech program that's supposed to here at the school district. This is outside of the rec and tech.
But this is gonna cost us more money, so we need to make sure that we're offloading the cost of Warren Tech to budget for this.
This should not take away from the current allocations of Warren Tech students participating in that program.
For future years.
For future years, this is a commitment through the district through enrollment, and also we're working now. Jen's created a partnership MOU for students from other districts to come here to pay for tuition be in the program, and some students are going to withdraw from their current district and enroll in their district to help pay for that too. And the foundation's also helping with this funding too.
But these price per pods that's the part of their fee that they're paying to be in the class. It's not,
Correct.
the district's not paying it.
It will be part of the $500 tuition cost that we pay for students who are currently in the district. It'll be part of them staying enrolled in our district to pay for part of that program, but also we're recruiting students from outside the district to come in, and that money will pay for this expense too. It should not, I can't guarantee, but my hope is that this does not take away from any students participating in Warren Tech programs moving forward. This is to be eventually self-funded program.
And the intent or the goal is to get kids to be more involved in our program as opposed to something like Warren.
This is true, correct.
So that's kind of what I'm
Oh,
thinking,
thank you. I see what you're saying.
the balance.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that it's communicated clearly to families.
Yeah.
Warren Tech is going to be a little bit more, a little less going forward.
Oh, again, we're not taking away from students. This is encouraging kids to participate in our program.
Mhm.
It may pull some kids away from going to Warren Tech, but it's not saying you can't go to Warren Tech because we have this program.
That's not.
Okay,
I
thank you.
think I know what, yeah, I think
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
maybe saying like enticing the kid, like letting the parents know, and we need to start this communication very soon. That next year it's gonna be application based and, everything we've already talked about. And so
Correct.
maybe that will draw some kids over to this.
Correct, thank you.
I think is what you're saying.
So overall, it's
Yeah.
more opportunities, so more students really.
Yeah.
It's just different routes.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Any questions, Carrie Ann? All right, then we
I'm
will.
good, thanks.
Okay. On to the designated election official.
Yeah, so,
Congratulations. Oh, sorry.
well, it hasn't been decided yet. So the purpose of this, item on the agenda is to designate the election officer for the upcoming November 3rd, 2026 regular school district election. So if the board chooses to move forward with a ballot measure, we need to have a designated election official do that work. And so Jen has volunteered to be the designated elected officer. If the Board of Education would approve for her being the selected person and appoint her to have continued conversations with the county to make sure that all of the deadlines are met in moving forward with the ballot measure.
How does that affect hiring somebody into Lori's role?
This is just a role, this is an additional responsibility that it
This is a duty is assigned and it rotates.
just for this election only.
Yes.
Okay.
Done with that.
When
I'll
it would
answer
come
your
to,
question.
yeah, like a board election, hopefully that would else in that other position. Because I did serve as the DEO for
Mine.
your election and Carrie Ann's re-election. I believe in hindsight, I did not do my best during that time. I believe I was quite pregnant and suffering COVID simultaneously, as well as just was throwing kind of some random documents due to the transition with Athena. So I hope that doesn't serve as a reflection of my capability of performing this. I have already been working with Brenda at the county and, getting our notice of intent over, and she's working on the IGA now. There is no penalty to withdrawal if we choose not to go forward with the initiative. Kim Crawford, we met with yesterday, and her and Brenda from the county are both sending me different timelines and to-do list to keep on top of everything that's required of this election, because it is different than like a typical board election. So
I was just asking out of curiosity, not to make you feel like I had a concern. 'Cause I don't.
oh no, that's fine. I reflected on myself today and was like, ugh. Marcy and Carrie Ann are gonna be like, no.
I didn't know any better, so I thought you did great.
Carrie Ann probably did, though. I know there was.
No, she was appointed, so that was her first election as well. So,
Oh, okay.
It wasn't my first election,
well, it was that's true. For the
but
school.
I will say that Jen did an amazing job. And thank you, Jen. And thank you for volunteering to do it. Oh my God, she volunteered-ish to do it again. So
in the room.
yeah, I heard Wes wasn't going to do it. So no, thank you. I appreciate it. And you were always very professional with my questions, and even when you didn't have an answer, you always went to Brenda to find the answer, and that's always the appropriate thing to do.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I think that's it then. Onto the workers' comp insurance contract renewal. So tag teaming, Jennifer and Kristen.
So I'm going to turn this over to Kristen and Jen to explain the workers' comp renewal.
And the reason we're bringing this forward is simply because of the cost associated with it. Like I said, when we did SIDSIP, I don't know if insurance premium renewals were often brought to the board or not, but they do exceed like a contract threshold. So we just wanted to kind of touch base on where we have landed in our decision with the renewal and kind of explore the cost with you guys. We received 2 renewal quotes this year. We received one from Copper Point, who we are currently with, as well as one from WCF. Copper Point renewal came in at $48,000 and some change. The WCF came in at $36,000. This year, our renewal was for FY26. It was $52,000. So no matter the option we choose, they are resulting in cost savings. I know when you see like a reduction, from 52,000 to 36,000, it can be more like a one time to get us to sign and that the, premiums are gonna skyrocket, but it's, more based on our district's E-mod, which is favorable at a 0.96. And that's just due to the low claims that we've had throughout the years. Copper Point, once they received word that WCF had come in lower and we were considering them, they did come back with a counter of 43,000 and some change. So we're looking between the 43 and the 36, but we did our due diligence by reaching out to several school districts who are with WCF. We did a lot of research on WCF and found not only was the premium renewal more favorable, but outside of the financial gain from that, WCF was focuses really on just workman's comp, whereas Copper Point offers a broader spectrum of insurance, and a lot of school districts have moved to WCF just due to their time claim reaction and then their what is it called? Return to work programs and their dedicated claim support. So when we were comparing the apples to apples, really WCF shined a little brighter anyways, and then the compensation savings of 16,000 were also enticing, and the claim coverage was the same between both providers.
I just want to add that Jen really did the bulk of the research on this.
Thank you both, though. Doing this work is not fun, I know.
I will say, every year since I've been here, our claims have gone down. My first year, I was shocked. It has significantly decreased. Carrie Ann?
I just want to say that this is another fantastic example of our financial transparency that hadn't been happening prior, right? So thank you, Jen, for bringing this to the board and to the public and explaining it all. I think, that's just another aspect of what more we can do.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so we will go ahead and proceed with that
Well,
contract.
we'll officially vote
We're
in the
gonna
next,
vote.
in the
Yeah.
business portion, but thank you for your suggestion on which to select. We do appreciate all the legwork.
We gotta learn the procedure.
So moving on to policy work, these first reads are an emergency passing. We did an audit of all of our policies, and CASB pointed out that these 5 policies here and sub-policies were not in our collection of policies. So I'm not expecting everyone to have read everything and understand everything. We'll come back to this in August and really dig in on any that we need to Clear Creekify. Did you want to add?
No, I think you can clarify that these are CASB policies that when we did an audit of our policies, we don't have these included. So this is a chance for you to get a preview of policies we'll be reviewing in fall to make sure that we're in compliance with state statute and recommendations from CASB. And we will look at other districts' policies to help guide us in making sure that we make it sensible for our public and for the Board of Education and the district to understand.
Does anybody have any questions?
This is information only, we're not voting on policy.
Say, we'll pass it like on an emergency first read, but tonight, and then
Do we have to?
say it just puts them in place
To be,
in case there was anything that needed, nothing's gonna happen over the
It
summer.
does not put it in place on an emergency first read, does it?
We've done it
It
before.
still has to have a second to be in place.
No, when Mike Gass was here, we had a few that we had to put in place. They can be acted upon, but then we go through the full process of the first, second read.
I It's just because I haven't spent much time looking at them. I just don't see the utility in accepting it or accepting these right now if we're likely not going to be meeting them until August anyway.
See. What it helps with is that there's something in place in the fall so that we can then have something to edit.
Okay.
I mean, it's not ideal.
Yeah,
It should have been.
like, could we just do it this way, but in August?
I don't know what the difference is. What was the CASB message from us?
It just says that the CASB recommends the policy and regulations that are currently absent from the district policy manual and seek board direction regarding the adoption of these documents.
I'm at the pleasure of the rest of the board. Because yeah, if they haven't been there for a couple of years, I hear you.
It does feel a little weird to place them or whatever, approve them without really reading through them, and what if something did happen and then we, I don't know, it just seems a little backwards.
Yes, Carrie Ann.
I'm sorry, Nikki, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
I shouldn't say the criminal history record information, like as we're hiring new people, that really could affect some of that. So going and putting that into place seems a little bit preemptive. So I would hesitate with new hires and such to put something in that we haven't thoroughly vetted. I mean, I doubt there's something we're against, but yeah.
And
See,
if we
most
really-
of these are state statute, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Just
So-
the wording of it,
We're the,
go ahead, Carrie Ann.
I was just going to say that I would feel more comfortable if we knew that it actually would put it in place and placehold it and it would be in effect, but I am not convinced. But you can convince me.
I wouldn't be opposed to, like, if we really can approve something on an emergency basis, doing something for this in August. But I just don't love the idea of approving something just to have it in place. It feels like I need just a little bit more awareness before I can do that.
Carrie Ann has her hand up.
Did we post this as an emergency vote?
So we haven't put it out to the public yet.
But the agenda, is the agenda posted for our business meeting as an emergency first read?
It is, the business meeting and the study session are posted. I don't know if it says emergency meeting. We're looking right now to see what's
Same.
posted.
It says that we as a board can suspend the rules for this.
It just says it said, the public notice just says list the policies. It doesn't say emergency.
Is it an emergency right now? Or is it an emergency in August?
That I don't know.
I would feel like
Did
it's
you
better.
find the rule or
I
something?
mean, it just says that we can fast track. It generally requires a formal motion to suspend the normal policy adoption rules. And again, with the intent that in August, we really dig in, talk about it, red line into the business meeting. And do that formal community feedback piece.
I think just because of the process, I would feel more comfortable if we approve this on an emergency basis in August
Okay.
instead of right now. Not that I have any concerns with this, just like a general process.
And, I mean, some of these, I think, go back to 2024, so I don't see, 4 months?
Mhm.
I was gonna say,
Or less than 4 months, oh my gosh.
August,
Some of the dates are pretty old.
it'll be 2 months.
All right, Carrie Ann.
I think Nikki brought up a good point, and I'm wondering if Kristen had any insight on whether any of these policies puts us at a disadvantage in our processes right now, if we don't do this tonight.
Honestly, I haven't seen the policies. I mean, I can look at them, but
Or what if it
It's a criminal
unintentionally
history.
causes an issue?
Record.
I
Yeah,
think that's what Nikki was
that's
saying.
more what I'm worried is
Mhm.
we already have
Yeah.
that. I don't
So then
doubt
I'll-
hiring process
Mhm.
goes through the criminal history. And I know teacher certification
I do know the change.
requirements are already there, so we're already kind of covered, but if any of the wording's a little wonky
And we're well aware. of
compared to
that.
what we currently have.
Be like an unintentional.
Yeah.
consequence, yeah.
So I'm probably doing all of this.
Yeah, I think you already are. It's more contradictions in wording or
My guess is.
minor things that could become a big thing.
We do have some sort of a policy, and I could go back and find it, that I have updated since I joined the district on our criminal history background. But I do know that the laws have changed, and we are following the new laws, not necessarily what's listed in the current board policy.
And that's it, we don't have one, is what they said.
There's something that talks about background in our
Okay.
hiring.
Okay.
And that's what we've updated.
Okay.
But it's,
Okay.
there's some things about how far you can go back with the criminal history and hold it against not hiring someone.
Okay.
All of that,
Thanks.
we're up to date.
So what I'm hearing is let's hold on this in the business meeting. So
Let's not vote on this in the business meeting with the intent that we likely will in August.
visit it in August.
Not visit, just.
We
like
do
we
it.
will.
Yeah,
We'll do it. Yeah.
So someone will need to just make a motion that all of these move forward to the August agenda. That's how we handle
We have to
it.
read them all.
So.
I would like to make an emotion, oh my God. Motion.
In the business meeting, you can do it.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can practice your words.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Otherwise, we'll move. So there are two policies that we do have on second read on the business meeting that aren't on the study session, in case there were any other questions, comments about those GB, GH, and GBGP.
And they're on the study session.
And
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Not on the agenda.
I'm not seeing them on the
Ah.
agenda.
But
Oh,
they're in the packet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, so they're not there, but
We've already discussed.
are there, we have, they're all both on second read, so I just wanted to offer space just in case there were any other questions or concerns there. So I do see future agenda items on our study session, or is this the business?
It's on the study session and I'm ready.
Okay. So we typically don't do it till the business meeting, but I will welcome it since it's there.
But are we, is that something we vote on, and so it has to be at the
I
business?
suppose it is, that's why we moved it, okay. All right, then I would look for a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
One second.
Excellent.
Sorry. Beers,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
McHugh,
Yes.
North.
Yes. All right, does anybody need a bio break before we move into the executive session?
I need a minute to stop.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go refill water and then would you like anything, Kristen?
I am
Refill
good.
your water?
It's full, thank you.
Okay.
that compressor, we got through a lot. I was worried this could go until 10 o'clock.